They say after a certain age, maybe 60 or beyond, your body just starts to give up on you. You begin to slow down, your strength fades, and the energy that once carried you through long days seems to slip quietly away. Maybe you felt it yourself. The subtle creaks in your joints, the way your legs don't respond as quickly, or how standing up from a chair requires a little more effort than it used to. It's easy to believe that this slow, steady decline is inevitable, that your muscles will weaken and your vitality will fade like the setting sun. But what if I told you that this isn't the whole story? What if the idea that you're destined to lose your strength, that you're simply getting old, is not as fixed as it seems? There's a quiet truth many men don't hear often enough. Your body is still listening. The muscles beneath your skin aren't gone. They're waiting, just as eager to respond as they were when you were younger. The signals from your brain might be a little muddled, the pathways a little dusty, but the capacity to regain strength is very much alive. And it starts with just one small, consistent habit. Something that doesn't demand hours at the gym or expensive equipment, but a simple daily conversation you can have with your own body. Let me tell you about Tom. He's 68, a man with hands weathered from decades of hard work as a mechanic, a former runner who once raced the morning breeze, but lately found himself struggling to get off the floor without using his hands for support. When he first came to see me, there was a heaviness in his eyes, not just physical, but something deeper. The frustration of not being able to move with the confidence he once had. The quiet fear that he was becoming a burden rather than the strong pillar of his family. He wasn't lazy or careless. He was tired. Tired of trying things that promised quick fixes and failed to deliver. Tired of hearing the same message. Just accept it. But what if that acceptance doesn't mean giving up? Tom's story didn't end there. After listening to his experience, I recommended something small. One daily habit that sent a clear, intentional message to his muscles. Not a grueling workout, but a brief, focused practice that reminded his body that it was still needed. Still important. Within weeks, I noticed a change. Tom walked into my office with a spark in his step that hadn't been there before. His knees no longer groaned when he stood up. His grandson was the first to notice. "Grandpa, you're walking like you used to," he said with a smile. It was a small victory, but to Tom, it felt like reclaiming a part of himself he thought was lost forever. You may be wondering how this is possible. Why do our muscles shrink and weaken as we age? The answer lies in a process called sarcopenia, a natural decline in muscle mass that begins around age 50 and can continue at a rate of about 1% per year. But this isn't a sentence to weakness. It's more like a signal fading on an old radio. The muscles themselves are still there, but the messages that tell them to stay strong and grow become less frequent and less clear. Imagine your muscles as a pair of speakers connected to a radio. When you're younger, the signal comes through loud and clear. As time passes, that signal becomes fuzzy. But the speakers themselves, your muscles, can still produce sound if you fine-tune the dial. This decline happens for several reasons. Our bodies produce less protein to rebuild muscle fibers. The mitochondria, the tiny powerhouses within cells, become less efficient, and the connection between nerves and muscle fibers weakens. But the good news is that these changes don't mean your muscles are permanently broken. They're simply waiting for you to start sending the right signals again. It's not about heavy lifting or intense training, it's about consistency and intention. The habit that has the power to reverse this process might surprise you because it's not flashy or complicated. It's a daily practice of resistance-based movement, using your own body weight or simple tools like resistance bands. These movements don't need to be long or exhausting. What matters is that they're deliberate and done with control, slow, intentional motions that communicate to your muscles. You are still needed. You still have a purpose. This is less about counting reps and more about having a meaningful conversation with your body every day. You might think, "I don't have time for this," or "my joints hurt too much." These are common concerns and they make sense. But you don't need to carve out an hour or push through pain. Even 10 minutes a day, done with focus and care, can make a profound difference. Imagine standing by your kitchen counter in the morning, rising slowly onto your toes, holding that position just long enough to feel the muscles awaken. Or sitting against a wall with your back flat, legs bent at a right angle, holding yourself steady like a silent promise to your body. These moments are like watering a plant. The change might be invisible at first, but over time, the roots deepen and the leaves grow greener. I encourage you to think of this habit not as a workout, but as an act of respect. It's a way of telling your muscles that you still value them, that they still have a role to play in your life. This approach shifts the focus from what you can't do anymore to what you can begin doing today. Because rebuilding strength isn't about perfection or intensity, it's about presence and persistence. I also want to remind you that this journey doesn't have to be solitary. Many men face these struggles in silence, believing they're alone in their challenges. But stories like Tom's show us that strength can be reclaimed, not through magic, but through steady, daily attention. It's about small, meaningful acts that accumulate over time, creating momentum toward a stronger, more capable version of yourself. Tomorrow morning, when you rise, consider this. Before you reach for your coffee or glance at the news, take a moment to connect with your body. Place your hands on the edge of the sink or the kitchen counter. Rise slowly onto your toes. Hold the position. Feel your calves awaken and your balance engage. That simple action sends a clear message to your muscles and your brain alike. It says, I'm still here. I'm still fighting. I'm still strong. This daily habit, though modest, taps into the profound resilience of your body. It honors the decades of life you've lived while opening the door to the vitality still within reach. It's the signal that your muscles have been waiting for, the fine-tuning that brings your strength back into clearer focus. And while it won't turn back the clock overnight, it will remind you that your best years aren't behind you. They're waiting to be reclaimed with patience, respect, and care. If you felt a flicker of hope while listening to this, that's a sign your body and spirit are ready to listen, ready to respond, ready to take that first step. And I'll be here, walking alongside you in this journey toward renewed strength and confidence. When we come back, I'll share practical ways to integrate this habit into your daily life. Even if you've tried and failed before, I'll help you work around the aches and doubts that might hold you back, and together, we'll uncover the path to steady, lasting strength that feels natural and doable. For now, remember this: your muscles are not forgotten. They're waiting for your voice, your attention. And with just one simple habit, you can begin to speak to them again, slowly, deliberately, and with a promise that you intend to keep. I'm Dr. Michael Hanks, and I'm honored to guide you on this journey. Let's take that next step together. Integrating this simple daily habit into your life doesn't have to be a struggle. I know many men worry that their bodies are too fragile, their joints too stiff, or their schedules too full to add anything new. But the truth is, building strength isn't about grand gestures or sudden leaps. It's about gentle, consistent whispers to your muscles, day after day. It's the difference between shouting once and hoping to be heard versus speaking softly but steadily until your message becomes impossible to ignore. Start by pairing this habit with something you already do without fail. Maybe it's brushing your teeth, making your morning coffee, or stepping outside to breathe the fresh air. Find your anchor, that one moment when your body and mind are already engaged, and let your resistance movements flow naturally from there. For example, while waiting for the kettle to boil, stand tall behind your chair and do a few slow heel raises, rising onto your toes and lowering yourself back down with control. Feel the muscles in your calves awaken as if you're gently coaxing an old friend back to life. Don't worry if at first the movements feel unfamiliar or awkward. It's normal to stumble or lose balance. Be patient with yourself. Some days will feel stronger than others. Some mornings you might have to lean a little more heavily on the counter or shorten the hold time. That's perfectly okay. This practice isn't about perfect form or pushing through pain. It's about presence, about showing up no matter what your body tells you in that moment. Every effort, however small, sends a vital message. You are still here. You are still worthy of care. It's also important to listen to your body. If certain movements cause sharp pain, modify or skip them. You're building a conversation with your muscles, not an argument. Over time, as strength returns, movements will feel easier, joints will become more forgiving, and balance will improve. That gradual progress is the reward of consistency, not intensity. One way to deepen this connection is by pairing your movements with breathing. Slow, deliberate breaths help oxygenate your muscles and calm your nervous system. Imagine each inhale as drawing life into your limbs, and each exhale as releasing tension and doubt. This rhythm transforms your daily practice from a mechanical task into a mindful ritual, a quiet moment where you honor your body's resilience and capacity for renewal. And while this habit centers on movement, it's also helpful to support your muscles with proper nutrition. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at using protein, which is essential for muscle repair and growth. Including a protein-rich snack after your daily routine can amplify the benefits. Simple choices like a handful of almonds, a boiled egg, or a small serving of Greek yogurt provide your muscles with the building blocks they crave. This combination of movement and nourishment creates a powerful foundation for restoring strength. Now, beyond the physical, this daily habit holds a deeper, more profound significance. It's a reclaiming of dignity. Strength isn't just measured by the weight you can lift or the distance you can walk. It's reflected in your confidence, your ability to live independently, to play with your grandchildren, or to tend your garden with ease. It's the quiet satisfaction of knowing you can rise from a chair without fear or hesitation. It's the presence you bring into the world when your body supports rather than limits you. Think back to Tom, who once doubted he'd ever feel that freedom again. When he began this simple daily practice, it wasn't just his muscles that changed. His spirit lifted. His wife noticed it first, how he held himself differently, a little taller, a little prouder. His grandson, too, marveled at the difference, seeing his grandfather not as an older man slowed by age, but as someone vibrant and alive, someone who could still chase a ball and share a laugh. These moments remind us that strength is not a number on a scale or a muscle size. It's the ability to show up fully in your life, to engage with the people and activities that matter most. It's a quiet power that sustains you through challenges, a foundation that supports your independence and joy. So, as you embark on this journey, remember it's not about racing back to your 40s or reliving the past. It's about embracing who you are now, with all the wisdom and experience that time has gifted you. Your body is a vessel of your story, marked by every triumph and trial. This daily habit is a way to honor that story, to add new chapters filled with strength, resilience, and hope. The road ahead may not always be easy, and some days may test your resolve, but with patience and kindness toward yourself, the steady accumulation of these small moments will transform your strength in ways you can feel and eventually see. Each step forward is a victory, a quiet declaration that you are not fading, but flourishing. If you find yourself wondering where to begin, start small. Tomorrow morning, before the world stirs, stand by your kitchen counter, place your hands firmly and rise slowly onto your toes. Hold for 10 seconds, breathing deeply. Feel the connection between your feet and the floor, the gentle tension in your calves, the steady beat of your heart affirming life. That single act is your first message to your muscles, a promise to return tomorrow and the next day. And when you're ready, consider adding one more movement, the wall sit. Find a clear wall space, lean your back against it, and slide down until your knees form a gentle right angle. Hold that position, steady and calm, for as long as comfortable. These moments may seem small, but they are mighty. They are the building blocks of renewed strength. If you want guidance through these movements, there are many resources available. Simple routines designed for men over 60 that honor your body's needs and limitations. But the real power lies in your commitment to consistency and care. The journey isn't about perfection, but persistence. I'm here to tell you that your best years are not behind you. They're ahead, waiting quietly for you to step into them with intention. This isn't a call to sudden transformation, but to gentle awakening, to reminding your body and spirit that they still have much to offer, much to feel, and much to share. You are not alone in this. Many men carry the same hopes and struggles. Together, through shared stories and simple habits, we can reshape what aging looks like. We can replace resignation with renewal, fear with confidence, and isolation with connection. I invite you to make this daily habit your own, not as a chore, but as a gift. A daily act of kindness to your body, your spirit, and the life you cherish. Because strength isn't just about muscle, it's about the courage to keep going, to keep believing, and to keep living fully. If this message has touched you, know that you've already taken the first step. The willingness to listen and the desire to act are powerful beginnings. I encourage you to share this with a friend who might need it too. Sometimes the greatest strength is found in community. Thank you for trusting me to share this with you. My name is Dr. Michael Hanks, and I look forward to walking beside you on this path toward renewed vitality and strength. Remember, it all starts with one simple habit, one small moment of connection, one steady step forward. Let's take that step together.